They do a Gandalf scene, right? With Gandalf and Elrond and Kate Blanchett. The main one of the main characters of Rings of Power, fucking
Galadriel.
Galadriel, yeah.
Galadriel.
Yeah. Oh, that's another thing I love about Rings of Power. How they turn every R.
Yeah.
So whenever they say Sauron, it's not just Sauron.
Sauron.
Yeah, you got to like turn the R a little bit. Fucking pretentious.
God,
English people.
Elf. It's not all of them. It's specifically the elves. It's
Are
like
they the ones that do it?
Yeah, it's like the elvish accent.
Because they're educated and everyone else is stupid.
It's just how they speak, I think.
Spoiler-free thoughts, real quick.
Holy shit, this show looks so good.
Yeah. I've been liking the second season a lot more too. I didn't dislike the first one, but like I've been enjoying the second one more.
I think we talked about it a lot with the first season, but like all the props, all the costumes, all the sets, like it is genuinely hard for me to tell what they're CGing and what is practical.
Yeah, there was an effect in the second episode with the stranger. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to call him Gandalf because I don't want to be an idiot and have it be someone else. Where they're like in the desert and he uses magic, and he disturbs all of the pebbles and shit.
Yeah, and they're all moving around in waves.
And it's like, is that in camera? Is that actually happening? Yeah. Because I cannot tell if that's CG or not. What the fuck?
Like the
giant tornado?
Yeah.
Is that a real tornado? I don't fucking know. The tornado was fake, but
yes.
Yeah.
But like the first
are those real orcs?
The first season was the most expensive season of television ever produced.
Yes.
Like by a lot. And I would be astonished if this season was any cheaper.
Yeah.
Like,
but they're getting their bang for their buck. Though.
Yeah. Like
really
I can only assume Jeff Bezos is a huge Lord of the Rings fan and is personally funding all this shit. Because
that makes me like it less though. Don't say that. You know what else really rocks in this show? The soundtrack.
Yeah.
Bear McCreary. And an exec at Amazon's like, Bear, listen, we need this to sound like Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings.
He's like, say no more.
Yeah. So because we need people we can't legally say that they are in the same universe, but we need them to hear it.
Something has changed because like this is now the Lord of the Rings of Power.
Was that not in the first one?
I don't think so.
Did they kill someone to get the rights?
I don't know what happened, but it is right there on the title.
Who's in charge of the Tolkien estate right now? They probably like kidnap their kids.
Probably Christopher Tolkien.
They're like, we're going to kill your kids unless you give us the rest of the story. Jeff Bezos is going to come to your house.
No, Jeff Bezos doesn't go to your house. He sends his ninjas.
Yeah. I imagine if they really wanted me to do something like that for Amazon, they would just have Jeff Bezos come to my house and like read out of the Target sale paper. And be like, oh, you're so weird. No, I'll do whatever you want. So yeah, I think so far, I like it. I think it's cool. Good music, good fucking visuals. Yep. The performances are good too. I don't think there are any actors in this show that I don't really love.
Caleb Brimbore's assistant has some kind of weird line reads. The woman.
Oh, I barely remember her.
There was also one other character in Numenor when what's his name was looking at the king's sarcophagus and musing about something, and like she walks up to him and she has a kind of weird line read.
Is she the one that finds the ball?
I don't think so.
Or is it someone else?
I think it's someone else.
So,
but all the main characters do a fantastic job. Most of the supporting cast is fantastic as well.
So we're gonna do spoilers. There's no way we get through all 3 episodes in time today.
Not in full detail.
Yeah. So if we miss a detail that you really enjoyed, let us know in the comments. But I like how the first episode just starts with a Sauron origin story.
Yeah.
With like, so I guess they recast Adar, didn't they?
Maybe.
Because he was played by Uncle Benjen.
He looks very similar.
Yeah.
From what I remember, at least.
I think they have similar northern faces, I guess.
Okay.
But they're definitely different actors.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I know Uncle Benjen's face anywhere. I've seen Game of Thrones so many fucking times.
So Sauron is talking to the orcs saying, hey, everyone fucking hates you. Your only way forward is with me, so fucking do what I say.
Yes, I'm the white man here. Listen to me, please.
And then Adar's like, I'm just going to stab you with this crown now.
I like how he was like, They had the big Sauron
Yeah,
crown.
the big spiky metal crown.
And he's like, I'm going to put it on you the right way. Psych!
Psych!
Yeah.
And then all the orcs just fucking stab him to death. And Adar's like, actually, you're going to work for me now. And the orcs are like, yeah, okay, this seems better.
That's fine.
And then like Sauron's blood.
He might stab us with a crown. We better listen to him.
And Sauron's blood like turns into this black goo.
Is it
like,
blood or is it just Sauron?
It's something. It's
the essence of Sauron.
It sinks down into the bottom of a mountain, and he like starts eating rats and shit. And like he's a really gross blob.
Yeah,
thing.
he's like it's kind of like a carpet. He's like a little tenderly carpet. It's, you know what? It's how I imagine Voldemort probably was after he got, after he tried to kill Harry. And, that's probably how he existed for a while, right? Yeah. He starts small. He's like, okay, I'm gonna pace myself. I'm gonna start with a rat.
Eat this rat,
and then I'm gonna go eat this lady.
Yep.
And probably her horse too.
And then he turns into the guy we all know.
Oh, Halbrand.
He's his name.
Fucking hot. That man is very pretty.
He runs into some people who are like running away from orcs and like, hey, come with us. And he's like, okay, I guess.
Yeah, they they try to cross the narrow sea.
Mm-hmm.
And
the fucking sea serpent breaks the ship, and he's like, I'm gonna take this symbol of the king of the Southlands now.
I could turn this into a story. I bet. I like how they're in the bottom of that ship having that conversation, and like the sea monster shows up, and there's like a look of recognition on Sauron's face, or on Halbrand's face.
Yeah. He's like, oh, I know what you are.
He's like, I know this guy.
Yeah.
It's Jeff, the sea monster.
He's like, hey, don't eat me. And Jeff the sea monster's like, okay, I'm gonna go over here now.
Yeah. They probably met each other like the evil conference or something. Yeah. And he's like, it's my boy Jeff. Yeah. And so that's how we figure out how he meets Galadriel, because she is going to heaven, right?
She's like,
she was on the boat to heaven and then was like, fuck it, I'm not going, and jumps off.
I don't want to go to heaven. I'm going to jump into the ocean, and comes up on this ship.
And then she finds Halbrand, and she's like, you're hot. And he's like, I know. You want to be friends? And she's like, depends. Are you the king of anything? And he pulls that fucking thing out. He's like,
king of checks notes, the Southlands.
Yeah, I am indeed a king, according to
this. Right here.
And she's like, great, we can be friends.
Yeah.
And then we figure out, like, all that shit happens, which, by the way, that reveal in season 1 of how, because I think everyone suspected that Halbrand was Sauron.
There was something shifty going on with him.
But like their final reveal when they actually came out and said it, with the reflection in the lake,
incredibly well done.
Oh, it was so good. So
Galadriel is chasing Elrond through the woods because he has
they got the rings.
Yeah, he has the rings. She wants them. He's like, no, you shouldn't use these. He's like, I want to use them.
By the way, it looks like they're having just a friendly chase through the woods.
Yeah,
and not like Elrond has the most powerful, dangerous rings in all of the universe, and
he has a bag full of nuclear bombs,
and she wants them.
Yeah,
and like, but they're like, because they're elves and they frolic everywhere. Yeah. They're like, oh, look at me.
Well, I mean, Galadriel's not going to pull out a bow and arrow and fucking shoot him. Or
she might.
That's her friend.
She fucking might though. She's pretty.
Is Galadriel gonna have to stab a bitch?
I hope so. I would watch her stab a bitch.
Yeah. So,
I think she did stab a bitch in the first season, probably.
She stabbed multiple bitches.
Yeah. I like her, by the way.
Yeah.
She's one of those figures in the show that a lot of the internet trolls and comments are like, oh, I don't like her. And it's like, is it because it's a girl? Is it because you couldn't win against her in a fight?
Yeah.
And you spend your day imagining you winning different fights with different people, but here comes Galadriel and she just kicks you right in the nuts? Is that why you don't like her very much?
So they get to the king, and the king is like, Galadriel.
Gil-galad.
Gil-galad.
I remember that because I have the wiki open in front of me. I don't like that man's face. I'm sorry.
It's a little weird.
I've said it. He's got a little bit of a thing here that this is like some skin or something. I don't know. He has a very soft, untrustworthy face.
So Gil-galad is like, look, Galadriel, Elrond tells me that Halbrand isn't who you thought he was. And she's like, well, no, he's
he said he was a king.
You're not gonna like this. I want you to like not freak out, but he might have been Sauron. Gil-galad's like, he was who?
Yeah. Okay. So this is interesting because she was the one tolling the warning bells about Sauron, and everyone was like, "No, fuck you, that's not real." And then she's like, "Oh, I found Sauron," and they're like, "How could you? How could you be fooled by him? We all knew."
How could you be friends with Sauron?
Yeah, it's like you didn't even believe he fucking existed, motherfucker. Yeah. Like, what's wrong with you? By the way, we forgot to mention during the Sauron origin story, there's a cool fucking effect where he just explodes into a bunch of fucking frost everywhere.
Because he gets stabbed a million times. Like Adar like kind of nudges him with his boot. And then finally's like,
yeah, I think he orgasms or something.
Yeah, and
it was a little orgasm-ish.
And he's the reason that entire region is snowy all the time now.
Yeah,
because like before it was regular green plants and shit. But
I know some people noted that Adar and some of the orcs who were at ground zero were just fine.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe it wasn't like an explosion. He's just like everything gets snow now.
Yeah.
So a quick reminder that the elves need golden leaves to stay in Middle Earth for some reason.
Yes.
And they need to not be falling from a tree, and the tree looks a little sickly, and so they're trying to figure out a way to like heal it or whatever. And the basic fight is we have these rings. The rings will heal the tree. Mm-hmm. Elrond's like, oh, okay, but Sauron made them.
Yes. Well, Sauron helped to make them.
Right.
His knowledge was there, and that was what went into.
Right. And we don't know if he corrupted Celebrimbor or not, or like it's safer just to not.
Yes.
And Galadriel's like, or we do and we fix every problem ever. And the king's like, yeah, we're gonna do that.
Yeah.
And then Elrond is like, not if I steal them.
Not if I jump off a fucking cliff.
Yeah. So he steals them and talks to Círdan.
Master Círdan.
Círdan, yeah.
Círdan,
sorry.
yeah.
Again, not a Tolkien fanboy.
Yeah.
So
Kieran's like, well, that's quite a dilemma you got there, but what if I take these rings, take them out in the ocean, just drop them in this bottomless pit?
Yeah.
Elrond's like, that's an excellent idea. Go do that.
That is a good idea. I saw a comment on the internet who was like, they gave Círdan or is that his name?
Yes.
A fucking beard, and elves don't have beards, and like how could they never pay attention to the source material. And like a super Tolkien fanboy was like, he literally has a beard in the book, you stupid fuck.
Also, the very next time we see him, he's literally shaving.
Yeah. So he by the way gets in his boat and very calmly just sails out.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, oh God, where is he? And he's like, I'm on the boat. And
like he's about to drop him, and like there's this giant shaking, and he's like, well, let me just take a look at these. Oh, these rings are actually kind of cool.
They do the ring thing where they're like, don't throw us in.
Yeah.
We're your friend. And he's like, okay.
Well, maybe you are my friend.
Yeah. And so he takes them back. And then Elrond's like, you fucking idiot. All you had to do was that.
So he comes up to Gil-galad. He's got one of the rings on. He's like, hey.
Yeah, this one's mine.
Yeah.
Sorry.
This is mine. Like, you can pick. Like, I'm team red. You can be blue or you can be diamond.
I just like how the presumption.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm keeping this ring. This one's mine.
So like he goes to put him in Gil-galad's hand. Like Gil-galad drops him, and one of them falls directly to Galadriel's feet. And so they're the three people with the rings.
This is a neat, I guess, parallel to Galadriel in the Lord of the Rings film. Who Frodo is like, fuck it, why don't you take the ring? She's like, nope, don't even joke about that.
So in the source material, in present day of Lord of the Rings, she still has the ring that she has here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she has one, Elrond has one, and I believe Gandalf has the third one. I think that's right.
Where does he keep it? Probably in that giant stick he has. So speaking of Gandalf, he is kind of slowly getting his memories back. And he's like hanging out with Nori the Harfoot. And they're lost. They're going to... Rune, yeah. And
RHU with the cool accent over it. N. Yeah.
So it turns out their Nori's friend Poppy like shows up and she's like, I've got maps. And they're like, that's great.
I've got maps and snacks.
Yeah. Well, right before that, so Gandalf doesn't want to use his magic because
he's afraid he's going to make things explode. Yeah. And Nori's like, hey, we're out of food. Like, here's a tree. Make it make food. And Gandalf's like, okay, get the fuck back. Now, tree, I'm going to talk to you very sensually in the language
with
of
all
the
the fucking pebbles and shit. Yeah.
Let me touch some pebbles. Make me some food.
Yeah.
And the tree fucking explodes. And Nora's like, hey, there's a bunch of beetles here. We can fry these.
Yeah. They literally have a hook, like a Hakuna Matata thing. Yeah.
They just eat some beetles.
Yep. They're being followed by some mysterious guys. And then
some bad hombres.
Yeah. Yeah. The Elf King sends a message to Celebrimbor, who's like, bro, Halbrand is probably Sauron. He's sketchy. Watch out.
Yeah.
And we find out that message never makes it.
Nope.
And I think it might have been too late anyway.
Yeah, because by that point, Halbrand.
Let's talk about how this folds out. Yeah.
So Halbrand like surrenders himself to the orcs. He's still undercover here, so he gets taken before Adar. He's like, "Hey, I can tell you about Sauron." Adar's like, "Fuck you! I'm gonna have my guys beat the hell out of you."
I'm gonna tell you about Sauron. I stabbed him with a fucking crown, and he disappeared.
So Adar's thrown in jail. Halbrand is thrown in jail, and like every so often, this one dude comes by to beat the shit out of him. And eventually Adar's like, okay, look, clearly you don't respond well to torture. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to set your people free. I'm going to let you go. And you're going to tell me where Sauron is.
And if I do this, please don't have the dog friend you made in jail eat my human person.
Yeah. Halbrand's like, deal.
Yeah, except for the last part.
So he jumps on his horse. He rides out. When he gets to the edge of the camp, like he stops because he hears the dog eating his guy. Yeah. He's like, fucker.
Yeah. Which, by the way, like if I were locked in a prison cell and there was a ravenous, hungry dog, I'd probably give him my food too.
Yeah, give him your food. Speak to him in the black language.
Yeah, that's how you make. That's how I made friends with my dogs. I gave them turkey legs and spoke in the black language.
Black tongue, whatever it is. Anyway, so Halbrand gets to Celebrimbor's house and he's like, "Hey, I want to talk to Celebrimbor." And the guards are like, "You can't talk to Celebrimbor." He's like, "Well, that's okay. I'll just hang out here."
He's playing Xbox right now. Sorry.
Yeah, that's fine. You know, I'll just hang out here. You won't even know I'm here. It's fine. So he hangs out there for like 3 or 4 days, and it starts to rain. And Celebrimbor finally comes out. And is like, "Dude, you need to get the fuck out of here." Like,
I like so like he's got that assistant that comes out.
The guy comes out with a fucking incredibly
that umbrella,
elven umbrella.
That was pretty funny. That is so extra. I met his female assistant.
Oh yeah,
who Halbrand happened. He's such a fucking manipulator.
Yes,
that he turns and like shows his bloody scars a little bit.
And she's like,
oh no, he's hot and he's hurt.
Yeah,
and he's like, oh, I've got her. Boys, I've got her. I've got this.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got her.
Yeah. And it was her talking to Celebrimbor. He's like, he's so cute, and I think he's hurt. Should I bring my shawl? And he's
Celebrimbor's like, I promised Galadriel I would not talk to him, so I'm not going to talk to him.
Also, I don't own any shawls. Do you?
That is bullshit. Every elf owns
they're very shawl, very shawl centric society. But yeah, he gets his he. I think to Halbrand, if he can just get face to face with him, he can get his little Sauron tongue in his ear, and then that's it.
And
right?
he does, because as soon as Celebrimbor comes down there, it's like, oh well, you know, I could tell you what's going on, but
I can't.
It'd be better if Galadriel did. And he's like, oh, you talked to Galadriel. Yeah. You talked to the king. You talked to Elrond. So tell me what's going on.
Yeah.
And fucking Sauron is playing this guy like a goddamn fiddle.
Yes. Yeah. Like that fiddle that plays the Rohan theme.
So
that weird Nordish or like that whatever.
Yeah.
That was.
So they get up to Celebrimbor's house and like Sauron just has his feet kicked up. He's eating and having a great time and so it turns out. So Sauron tells him, yeah, the rings worked. Everything's great. And Celebrimbor's like, great, let's get drunk. I've had this wine for 3,000 years.
Yeah, it's older than Jesus. in the middle of all this, the dwarves are having some trouble in Khazad Dûm, right?
Yeah, because Mount Doom is exploding, and that's sending tremors through the mountain that, like, blocks off all their
Also, they
sun.
overmined it, right? Like, they're getting too greedy with their trying to get the mithril out or whatever.
I think so. I know that's what eventually happens to him, but I don't know.
Well, they ended the first season with that stinger with the Mephisto. What the fuck is that guy's name? The fire demon dude.
Oh, the Balrog.
Yeah, the Balrog. Yeah. So I think that's kind of what, like, because they're trying to get the mithril or whatever.
Yeah.
The dwarf king and the dwarf son are estranged, and they're both very stubborn.
I think they're both named Durin.
Yeah. And he's okay. So Durin's wife, the mountain singer.
What's her name? Starts with a D.
I like how she has a little bit of facial hair.
Yeah.
Because Gimli mentions
just a tiny bit of side.
Yeah. He like in the original movie is like, oh, you know. Dwarvish women have.
Of all the characters in this show, she is the one I would most like to be friends with.
Oh yeah, she seems pretty down to earth.
Yeah,
I like how exasperated she is by Durin just being an asshole.
Yeah, she's like, dude, just go fucking apologize to your father. Like, life's too short for this shit. And then she's in front of the king. She's like, dude, just go fucking apologize to your son.
She's trying to play both sides, and she's like, guys, come on. She's like, I don't know. She's like, the Switzerland of this whole thing. Yeah. She tries to fix the mountain by singing.
Yeah, she and her buddies try to fix it by singing, and they make it worse.
Yeah. Whoops. And so this is where Halbrand gets the idea. Oh, hey, we can make rings for the dwarves.
Yeah.
Because they'll make their shit better too. Mm-hmm. And by the way, I lied to you about who I am. I'm not Halbrand. I'm an elf. Mm-hmm. And he goes and walks into the forge.
He says, I'm not a man or a dwarf or an elf. I am something else.
Yeah. A god or whatever.
But I have a friend, a messenger, whatever.
Like I just like Celebrimbor turns around, he's just not there, and everything is dark, and he's like, "What the fuck, man?" And then he he
just comes out of the fireplace like, "Behold!"
The forge like fires up and shit, and he's like, "Oh God, is there a person in there?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'm God.
Yeah,
you can call me what is he?
Anatar.
Anatar, yeah. The something of gifts.
The Lord of Gifts.
The Dude of Gifts, yeah.
The
Bro of Gifts.
The Bro of Gifts.
Yeah.
We'll go with that, yeah.
And so he's like, yeah, we're going to make some rings for the dwarves.
Yeah, so Durin and his wife go out to meet him, and Celebrimbor was like, yeah, we can make you these rings. There'll be one for each of the dwarf lords. It'll be great. You can fix your mountains. Everything will be fantastic. And Durin's
why did you guys try to sing to it? Just use the fucking rings.
Yeah. Durin's like, let me get back to you.
Yeah, we're going to need to talk to my dad, because we're not sure how this is going to work out.
Also, I don't really talk to my dad, so like you really picked the exact wrong person to bring this to.
They have a touching scene where Lesser Durin apologizes, even though he knows
he is right.
Yeah, but he swallows his pride.
Yeah.
And the king shows up and is like, yeah, fucking let's do rings. Here's some mithril.
Yeah.
And yeah.
So very neat detail in this. Like Celebrimbor is going to go to drop the mithril in, and Sauron's like, no.
I want to do it.
I'll take
I
that.
want to do it. It's like when you get on the elevator, you're like, I'm pressing the button.
Yeah, and like he holds it and like kind of closes his eyes for a second.
Does a little magic, I think, probably on it.
Most likely.
Yeah.
And then transfers it to his left hand, which is just a neat little detail because your left hand is referred to as your sinister hand.
Ooh, okay.
Because that comes from Latin, dexter, sinister.
Okay.
And then drops it in. So that's how the dwarves got fucked up.
Is that why people sometimes only masturbate with their left hand?
Really couldn't say.
Even right-handed people? No, I'm not saying I do that. I'm just saying that like I've heard of that.
I could not comment on that.
We'll have to ask the bro of gifts.
Yeah,
he'll know.
So meanwhile, in the Southlands, shit is still fucked up.
Oh, I like how the beginning of the third episode starts off with Isildur's horse.
Oh yeah,
and his little adventure. Yeah, because they're trying.
The horse is freaking the fuck out.
Yeah, because
he's like, dude, can you chill?
Yeah, they're like they want to go back to Numenor, right? Yeah. And he's like, no. I'm a horse. First of all, I don't like being on ships. But also, fuck you. My dude is still out here. Yeah. And he runs off.
So he runs off into a fucking spider nest.
Yeah. Which I thought maybe I know the big spider from the
Shelob, yeah.
I don't think it's that, right?
It's not that. It might be like her children or something.
Ew.
But
I got massive Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban vibes from this with what's the spider's name from Harry Potter?
I forget, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it kind of felt like that. Which, by the way, you know this because you know me, but we're very spider friendly in my house because
not if they were spiders like this.
Yeah, I don't like people making spiders into creepy things that we need to be afraid of because spiders are almost always harmless. It is very rare that they bite. And when they bite, it's because you're fucking with them and they can't find a way out. Mm-hmm. And they don't like to be around humans. They'll run away from humans because they're like, what the fuck is that?
So if you're arachnophobic, the spiders don't like you either.
Yeah. And they just prefer not. And that like all these myths about like how many spiders you swallow a year is just bullshit, right? Like none of that shit happens. It's why when you walk up to my house, we have this giant spider web. And if you go and look at it right now, hundreds of mosquitoes caught in it. Mm-hmm. Fucking mosquitoes that aren't biting me in that fucking web, and I hope they're all dying a slow, painful death. Thank you, spider.
Anyway, so
but no, fuck these spiders. So yeah, they're really gross. Yeah.
So Isildur and the horse like sort of tag team the spiders, and they get out of there. Isildur almost drinks some corpse water. That's kind of fun.
Yeah. That kind of reminded me of what's that part from Lord of the Rings? With
the swamp of dead men or whatever it is. Yeah.
But instead of drinking the water, he's like, I'll take your boots and your sword, though.
Yeah.
Because I might need that. He meets a traveler on the road.
Yes.
Who was attacked by orcs. It turns out is actually...
stabs him in the thigh. And then when he goes to kill, he's like, no, I'm sorry. Please don't.
By the way, that's a really good way to be unalive. Getting stabbed in the thigh.
Yeah.
That is a terribly dangerous place to be stabbed.
Yeah, and then she just pulls him out. He's like, no, you're not supposed to do that.
I like that. I like that detail of him knowing you're not supposed to pull it out, because that's a medical fact. If you're stabbed, it doesn't matter where you're stabbed. You're not supposed to take it out, but because it's probably holding a blood vessel closed, right? And if you take it out, it's going to open up. Thankfully, she didn't get his femoral artery, because he would have been dead in minutes. Yeah.
But they patch him up and they ride off, and they run into some another dude who was attacked by orcs.
Yeah, they're like outlaws.
Yeah. Well, they're Adar's dudes.
Oh yeah.
So
she's also one of Adar's dudes, right?
Yeah, we don't know that yet, though.
Yeah, but now we do.
Yeah. Because like at one point she like has the mark on the back of her neck and she like burns it off.
Yeah.
And so Adar's dudes like steal his horse again. He's like, that's fucked up. But the black elf shows up and he's like, hey, I'm a badass. I'm gonna kill all these guys.
But then I'm immediately leaving. Fuck you.
Shame about your horse.
Yeah,
I gotta go take this wood in to burn a chick.
Yeah, because his
girlfriend.
Yeah,
his girlfriend died.
That was really sad.
And he like he's I
appreciate this Isildur's like devotion to his animal. Yeah. I totally get that. I'd be like, I would kill a bunch of people for my horse if I had a horse.
Like Isildur's a bumbling idiot most of the time.
The horse kind of is too.
But he really genuinely loves that horse.
I think the horse like legitimately helps him out of that spider nest. Yeah.
He is like, if it's not for the horse, Isildur is dead.
I think the horse is smarter than Isildur.
Probably. I mean, it's Tolkien. Tolkien really liked certain animals.
Yeah, it's probably some special horse.
Yeah. So like the black elf's girlfriend's son, like is
Theo.
Theo, yeah. Theo doesn't like him, so he's like, dude, just stop trying to be cool with me. I don't like you. Fuck off.
Get out of your emo phase.
Yeah.
Sorry. So what? Your mom's dead.
Oh, by the way, Isildur, you want your horse back? Like, let's fucking go grab it.
Yeah.
And so yeah, that's the whole thing. And
they get the horse back.
So Isildur gets the horse back.
It's that tense moment, by the way.
Yeah.
When he like walks up to the horse and he's like trying to really
quietly,
and then like the guys look over, but the horse moves his head so that, and he's like leaning up against his body.
Yeah.
And you see it from their angle, and you can see the horse has turned his head, and like you can kind of tell that something might be there, but the guy's like too far away.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, this is kind of neat.
And Theo just fucking walks in the camp like, hey, you guys with Adar? Because I'm with Adar. Adar's pretty cool, right?
Yeah. Adar's my bro.
Yeah, we're homies.
Here's a mark on my arm that none of you will recognize. And they're like, what is that? And he's like, I don't know. It's from a sword.
But they managed to get away with the horse. Meanwhile, in Numenor, the king's daughter is about to be coronated.
We got some politics.
Except there's some people who think that she shouldn't be coronated, and that her cousin, I think, should be the
dude with the beard.
Pharazôn.
Yes.
So they're like,
it's the Donald Trump of Numenor.
Yes,
probably.
And so there's this.
Except he doesn't seem like he's an idiot, actually. So he's not at all.
And the queen is having some trouble because she kind of started an unpopular war and got a bunch of people killed, and people.
And no one cares that she's blind.
Also, she's kind of using an elvish ball of visions.
Yeah.
To do things.
To see visions.
Yeah. So at her coronation,
in that secret room with that fucking cool, she got that bracelet that turns into a key and shit. Yeah. That's pretty neat.
Yeah, that's pretty neat. So at her coronation, this one comes out and says, hey, you were fucking using this rock to see things. That's fucked up.
And she's like, I don't deny it. And they're like, oh.
Yes, that is mine, and I may have used it a couple times.
But it's okay, because I'm the queen.
It's fine. But they're like, yeah, but we don't like elves. Like, did you forget that that's our defining character trait? We don't like elves.
Yeah, that's the one thing we
don't like. That's our one thing.
And then an eagle shows up.
Yeah, an eagle shows up, and Pharazôn walks up to it like, please don't.
I can be king.
He's like, please don't eat me, please don't eat me, please don't eat me. And they're all like, the eagle likes Pharazôn. Hail Pharazôn!
I like how the eagle's like, I have no idea what you're saying.
I just landed here, bro. Like
I'm not gonna lie to you. It was in this moment I just realized that there was a birdseed down here, and I came down to get that. Okay, bye. Like flies off. And they're like, I'm gonna be king.
Also, like what 12, 15-foot tall eagles are a terrible way to run your government.
Oh yeah, that's
It's almost as bad as
a god running your government.
what's the line from Monty Python? Women in lakes throwing swords at people. Never mind.
You'll explain that during the Battlefront stream.
Okay, I will attempt to. But yeah, that's most of the stuff that happens.
Yeah, aren't the eagles like hyper intelligent though?
Yes, that's another Tolkien thing.
So do you think he landed on that thing and he was just like, these fucking idiots?
Well, the way he was like kind of rearing up and not really happy about Farazan, I thought
he was like, I'm here for the other chick.
Yeah.
What the fuck's wrong with you?
I'm here for the actual ruler,
Yeah.
but if you're going to be a dick about it, I'm just going to fly away.
Politics is all, perception is real.
Yep.
And so if they can spin it as, oh, the eagle looked at me,
Yeah.
so I'm the king now, or whatever.
Never mind the fact that he was like flapping his wings and trying to bite me and
Yeah,
and pooped on my lawn.
The queen's like, yeah, but he looked at me, and they're like, how do you know? You're fucking blind.
Yeah.
You don't know what happens.
Yeah.
They all looked at me, right? And everyone's like, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Farazan's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, I think that's about it.
That's the gist of it, yeah.
Yeah. We'll be back next week with the next episode. And
Or maybe 3. Who knows how fast
I don't know what the
this
release
shit.
schedule is. Yeah. I think next week we're going to also start up our Buzz Recap series again and start with
The immediate aftermath of Jon Snow getting stabbed.
yeah, I think it's Game of Thrones season 7.
I've lost track.
Which is, I think season 6 is when he dies. So season 7 would be,
Okay.
yeah. Or maybe it's, I can't remember.
Closing in on the end there.
Yeah. This is the part of the show Game of Thrones where like, there's so much cool shit that happens, but the fan reception starts to vary wildly right around this part of the show, right? And if you don't know what that is, Chris and I get a little sauced. And I get my map out of Westeros and Essos.
Drag portraits around.
Yeah, and I explain in detail the politics of it all and everything.
I'm just like, yes, shallow and pedantic.
Yes, and then you get to a part happens because I made you watch, and you're like, I remember that. Yeah. So yeah, we'll do that next week, I think. Here in a couple minutes, we're gonna reset and play some Star Wars Battlefront with our friends. So you should join us for that. That'll be a lot of fun. Real quick before we go. Rakesh says the Balrog. Disa is
Disa, yeah. Yeah, she's great.
Yeah. 3 for the elves, 7 now for the dwarves, coming soon, 9 more for the men.
9 for mortal men doomed to die.
Yeah. Dun dun dun, he wrote out phonetically. And then Boomhauer. Oh yeah. Rings of Power rocks, haters gonna hate. I agree, yeah. Hobbit is for a much younger audience.
Also true.
The White Council. Thanks, y'all.
Okay.
This is why you should look at the chat while we're doing this
Yeah.
because I go back and read it. I'm like, what the fuck does that mean?
What is that in reference?
And I know that's in response to something we said, but it's like, I don't remember that. That was 5 minutes ago.
Yeah.
I don't remember anything from
It's
5
probably
minutes ago.
20 minutes ago
Yeah.
at this point.
Anyway, we'll be back here in a few minutes. Come by, say hi to us.